families and businesses here in Ohio and all across the country. Just to take the Ohio example, over the past few years, premiums have risen nearly 9 times faster than wages. That's something that Rick and his wife understand very well. As we meet today, we're seeing double-digit rate increases on insurance premiums all over America. There are reports of insurers raising rates by 28% in California, seeking a 23% increase in Connecticut, proposing as much as a 56% increase in Michigan. If we don't act, these premium hikes will just be a preview of coming attractions. That's a future you can't afford. That is a future that America can't afford. We spend 1 of every 6 of our dollars on healthcare in America. And that's on track to double in the next 3 decades. The biggest driving force behind our federal deficit is the skyrocketing cost of Medicare and Medicaid. Small businesses struggle to cover workers while competing with large businesses. Large businesses struggle to cover workers while competing in the global economy. And we'll never know the full cost of the dreams put on hold, the entrepreneurial ideas that are allowed to languish, the small businesses never founded because of the fear of being without insurance or having to pay for a policy on your own. So, Ohio, that's why we seek reform. And in pursuit of this reform, we forged a consensus that has never before been reached in the history of this country. Senators and representatives in 5 committees are working on legislation. 3 have already produced a bill. Healthcare providers have agreed to do their part to reduce the rate of growth in healthcare spending. Hospitals have agreed to bring down costs. The drug companies have agreed to make prescription drugs more affordable for seniors. The American Nurses Association, the American Medical Association, representing millions of nurses and doctors who know our healthcare system best, they've announced their support for reform. So we have never been closer. We have never been closer to achieving quality, affordable health care for all Americans. But at the same time, there are those who would seek to delay and defeat reform. Is that the air conditioning? You can still hear me though. You know, we had one Republican strategist who told his party that even though they may want to compromise, it's better politics to go for the kill. Another Republican senator said that defeating healthcare reform is about breaking me. But it's really the American people who are being broken by rising healthcare costs and declining coverage. The Republican Party chair, seeking to stall our efforts, recently went so far as to say that health insurance reform was happening too soon. Well, first of all, let me just be clear. If there's not a deadline in Washington, nothing happens. Nothing ever happens. And, you know, we just heard today that, well, we may not be able to get the bill out of the Senate by the end of August or the beginning of August. That's okay. I just want people to keep on working. Just keep working. I want the bill to get out of the committees, and then I want that bill to go to the floor, and then I want that bill to be reconciled between the House and the Senate, and then I want to sign a bill. And I want it done by the end of this year. I want it done by the fall. Whenever I hear people say that it's happening too soon, I think that's a little odd. We've been talking about healthcare reform since the days of Harry Truman. How could it be too soon? I don't think it's too soon for the families who've seen their premiums rise faster than wages year after year. It's not too soon for the businesses forced to drop coverage or shed workers because of mounting healthcare expenses. It's not too soon for taxpayers asked to close widening deficits that stem from rising healthcare costs that threaten to leave our children with a mountain of debt. Reform may be coming too soon for some in Washington, but it's not soon enough for the American people. We can get this done. We don't shirk from the challenge. We can get this done. People keep on saying, well, this is really hard. Why are you taking it on? You know, America doesn't shirk from a challenge. We were reminded of that earlier this week when Americans and people all over the world marked the 40th anniversary of the moment that the astronauts of the Apollo 11 walked on the surface of the moon. It was the realization of a goal President Kennedy had set nearly a decade earlier. 10 years earlier, and said, we're going to the moon. And there were times where people said, oh, this is foolish, this is impossible. But President Kennedy understood, and the American people set about proving what this nation is capable of doing when we set our minds to do it. There are those now who are seeing our failure to address stubborn problems as a sign that our best days are behind us, that somehow we've lost our sense of purpose and toughness and capacity to lead, that we can't do big things anymore. Well, I believe that this generation, like generations past, stand ready to defy the skeptics and the naysayers, that we can once again summon this American spirit, we can rescue our economy, we can rebuild it stronger than before, we can achieve quality, affordable health care for every single American. That's what we're called upon to do. That's what we will do. With your help, Ohio. This is the fun part where we get ask questions. I'm gonna take off my jacket, guys. So if you want to do the same thing.